Welcome class 8A, students of 8A and 8B. Welcome to my history and civics class. Dear students 8A and 8B, today I shall teach the following points: discovery of sea routes, establishment of colonies, influence of the Roman Catholic Church, the Renaissance and birth of modern Europe, Protestant Reformation, the Renaissance and birth of modern Europe. The Renaissance and birth of modern Europe. The last point, Protestant Reformation. My first point, discovery of sea routes. My dear students, you know, Constantinople fell into the hands of the Turks, and hence the Turks closed all the land routes between Asia and Europe. But since the spices of Asia were valuable to the Europeans and huge natural resources were there, the Europeans had great attention towards Asian continents. But meanwhile, Constantinople was captured by the Turks and they closed the land routes between Asia and Europe. And it is due to that reason trade and commerce between Asia and Europe was extremely hampered. Although trade between Asia and Europe was profitable for the Europeans, but due to the influence of the Turks at Constantinople and due to the reason of the rulers of different countries of Europe, a number of, sailors were encouraged by them to sail around Africa, Asia, and Europe through sea. Bartholomew in the year 1488 discovered the southernmost tip of the continent, and he was the first European to sail across the new waters from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean. He named southernmost tip Cape of Good Hope. Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese navigator, he also followed the same route and reached Calicut in India 1 decade later in the year 1498, my dear students. It helped the Portuguese to establish trading relationship with our country, India. The discovery of the Americas by Christopher Columbus, that very Christopher Columbus was determined that the day would come he would be able to discover a new sea route, a new world, a new country. Christopher Columbus in the year 1492 discovered America. This paved the way for future. This paved the way for future journeys west across the Atlantic. Rulers and traders encouraged them, they kept on encouraging them. All the sailors were inspired by the rulers of different countries of Europe and were able to know more about the lands in the Far East and their rich natural resources. By the 16th century, several European countries established their colonies in overseas. So the idea of establishing colonies established. The idea of establishing colonies in different parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa was formed among the Europeans. That idea helped them to strengthen trade, to make them rich, wealthy, and prosperous, because they realized that many countries of the world, especially in Asia, the rulers were not efficient, the rulers were weak, they were fond of enjoying entertainment works rather than taking part in administration. As a result of it, people were not satisfied and they wanted to make some changes in the system of administration. They favored some foreign rulers. So the idea of establishing colonies among the Europeans for the first time, led them to establish colonies in Asia, Europe, and Africa. Next point, influence of the Roman Catholic Church. You know, the Roman Catholic Church established influence over the people of the whole world because they made huge wealth at the cost of the people. They declared all properties of the people, but they declared it to be their own properties and established their influence on the people. People had no right to criticize the orthodox system, to criticize the autocratic system of the church, and there was no reforms introduced by the church. They always remain busy in making money at the cost of the people. People had no right to protest against it. Besides, the workers who work in the church, like clergymen, priests, they are also interested in gaining wealth and acquiring power. What power? Political power. And hence the church became wealthy, prosperous, rich, and all the officials working in the church, they turned out to be corrupt. Under such circumstances, a new age awakened the people. What was about it? Which age awakened the people? Which age encouraged the people? Which age brought a remarkable change in the society? The Renaissance and birth of modern Europe. The Renaissance age encouraged the people not to accept any wrong concept without making proper experimentation. That's why the Renaissance led Europe into modern age. People became aware of their duties and responsibilities. People who believed in the church blindly, they now stopped doing it. Why? Because they decided to challenge the authority of the church. And some people spoke against the corrupt practices of the church. Who were they? They were Protestants. They wanted to make some reform. They wanted to make certain reforms in the structure of the church. The change brought in by these Protestants, and hence these Protestants were known as Reformation or Protestant Reformation. Protestant Reformation. What was their work? They started a movement against the church, the Roman Catholic Church. The aim of the movement, what was the aim of their movement? The aim of their movement started with the objective to reform Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church, its priests, clergymen who made huge wealth, became rich and prosperous at the cost of common people. Everywhere there were corruptions. So they now decided to change that system, the old traditional system, the old traditional belief and faith, they decided to remove. That's why the reformers encouraged the people to read the Bible and follow its teachings rather than accepting what the church told them. Ultimately, this led to the development of the spirit of inquiry and the birth of a rational and scientific temperament among these people, among these masses. Ultimately, a monk came from Germany whose name was Martin Luther, my dear students. Martin Luther sparked off this movement against the corrupt officials of the church and Roman Catholic Church. Ultimately, he realized it that this reformation would bring prosperity throughout the whole world, and the wrong practices, the wrong things which had been practicing by the Roman Catholic Church would be automatically stopped, would automatically come to an end. Being a professor of theology at the University of Wittenberg, Germany, he was against the sale of indulgences by the church. It was due to the wrong practices of the Roman Catholic Church. Selling of indulgences certificates made them huge money. They were able to make huge money by selling indulgence certificate to those who were prisoners, who were offenders, but huge wealth, but money, but rich people. People who were rich, prosperous, wealthy, but committed many offenses. So in order to remove their sins, they were offered to purchase indulgence certificate from the Roman Catholic Church. By way of purchasing indulgence certificate, they would be able to get themselves free of all sins, and that system would be done by the Roman Catholic Church. So the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church would declare themselves free of all sins, provided they would have to purchase one indulgence certificate by paying huge amount of money. So by selling these indulgence certificates, Roman Catholic Church made huge wealth, huge money. But Martin Luther strongly challenged it. He was against that act of malpractices and criticized the Roman Catholic Church and decided to bring many changes in the system of the Roman Catholic Church. And he raised hue and cry against the system of selling indulgences for the sinners. Ultimately, the people, means common people, masses, also actively supported the stance of Martin Luther. As a Protestant, Martin Luther protested the sale of indulgences, and at the same time, as a scene of protest, he nailed his 95 Theses on the door of the Castle Church in Wittenberg, Germany. These theses were a list of statements that express Martin Luther's concerns about certain practices continued by the Catholic Church. So, with the advent of the newly introduced concept of Martin Luther, a new age started. The age was known as Reformation. The Reformation movement started under the leadership of Martin Luther in the year 1517, my dear students. It encouraged the masses not only of Germany but masses of Asia, Europe, and Africa, where people were influenced by the Roman Catholic Church. People were misguided by the Roman Catholic Church. People had no right to open their mind to criticize any wrong efforts or any wrong works of the Roman Catholic Church. It was due to the effort of Martin Luther. There came a remarkable change in the system of Roman Catholic Church. Next day, the remaining part up to this, my dear students. Thank you.